Trump was formally charged in Manhattan on Tuesday with 34 felony counts of falsification of business records in connection with 2016 hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels, as well as other alleged attempts to suppress news stories about potential scandals. Trump has made history as the first ex-president to be charged with a crime. Of course, he pleaded not guilty in court, uttering the plea to himself in a loud voice, according to multiple news outlets. Not a surprise, because Donald Trump wants to be the loudest in the room. Trump was indicted by a grand jury on March 30th for his role in the payments, which were made by his former personal lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen. Cohen later testified that Trump had reimbursed him for the payments to keep Daniels quiet about her alleged affair with Trump. Trump pleaded not guilty on Tuesday to 34 counts of falsification of business records in the first degree. Prosecutors saw a gag order against the former president, but the judge denied their request. I got the feeling that judge is going to regret that decision, considering the fact how many times Donald Trump has threatened him and his family on Truth Social, and not to mention his little statement last night at Mar-a-Lago. In a statement, District Attorney Alvin Bragg said to the press, and I quote, "The people of the state of New York allege that Donald Trump repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal crimes that hid damaging evidence from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. Manhattan is a home to the country's most significant business market. We cannot allow New York businesses to manipulate their records to cover up criminal conduct. As the statement of facts describes, the trail of money and lies exposes a pattern of that. The people allege violates one of New York's basic and fundamental business laws. As this office has done time and time again, we today uphold our solemn responsibility to ensure that everyone stands equal before the law," unquote. I have to tell you, Alvin, I have got a huge mountain to climb. Donald Trump is going to muddy this up, and not to mention his supporters are going to muddy this up. It's not just the payments to Daniels. The indictment also cites payments by AMI, the parent company of the National Enquirer, to former Playboy model Karen McDougal and a doorman at Trump Tower, who claimed to have information about a child Trump allegedly fathered out of wedlock. Well, that's not a big surprise. I mean, Trump is a prime candidate to have I don't know how many children by how many women. He can't shut his mouth about how many women he's had sex with. So it wouldn't surprise me a bit if he had illicit children out there. The district attorney's office said Trump reimbursed Cohen through a series of monthly checks, quoting him, first from Donald Trump Revocable Trust, created in New York to hold Trump organization's assets during the Trump presidency, and later from Trump's bank account. In total, 11 checks were issued for a phony purpose, unquote. 9 of those checks were signed by Trump, according to the release. If that's true, then Donald Trump is the stupidest criminal ever. When you sign a check, you don't leave a paper trail. When you bribe someone, you don't leave a paper trail, and you definitely don't leave your signature on it. Anyhow, quoting again from the indictment, each check was processed by the Trump organization and illegally disguised as a payment for legal services rendered pursuant to a non-existent retainer agreement, unquote. It continued, in total, 34 false entries were made in New York business records to conceal the initial covert $130,000 payment. Further, participants in the scheme took steps that mischaracterized, for tax purposes, the true natures of the reimbursements. Trump was arraigned in Manhattan on Tuesday, capping off a 5-year investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office into the payments. The ex-president has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, and his attorneys have argued that the payments at the end of the 2016 campaign had nothing to do with his campaign. Attorney John Takapia, the mafia man, has tried to frame Donald Trump as a victim of an extortion attempt by Stormy Daniels. Good luck with that, son. Good luck with that, you Tony Soprano wannabe bastard. Cohen pleaded guilty to federal campaign finance charges related to the payments, but Trump was never charged by federal prosecutors. Big mistake. Court filings from Cohen's case show that the Trump Organization executives authorized funds totaling to $420,000, which covered the Daniels payments, tax liabilities, and a bonus reward, according to CNN. Trump has denied any knowledge of the payments, which is not illegal in itself. So you might skate on that, maybe. Prosecutors instead charged Trump with falsification of business records, which can be charged as a misdemeanor, but can be bumped to an E-class felony, the lowest level of felonies under state law, if it was done to conceal another underlying crime. Presiding over the Manhattan case is New York Supreme Court Judge Juan Merchan, who Trump proclaimed hates him on his social media post on Truth Social. Judge, you should have gagged him. I'm just going to say it right now. You should have gagged him. He's going to influence the proceedings, and he's going to make things worse for you. And this Truth Social post should be incredible proof of that. Takapia rejected the argument in a recent ABC News interview. Do you think the judge is biased? Of course not. How can I subscribe when I had no interactions with the judge would lead me to believe he is biased? Trump continued to lash out at Merchant ahead of the arraignment on Tuesday, alleging that the judge was biased because his daughter once worked for Vice President Kamala Harris' 2020 presidential campaign. The former president also demanded that the case be moved from Manhattan to more conservative Staten Island, where he may have a chance of skating. This is from his social media post on Truth Social. Very unfair venue with some areas that voted 1% Republican. This case should be moved to nearby Staten Island, would be very fair and secure location for the trial. Oh, God. Trump's attacks on Merchant and Bragg could lead the judge to imposing a gag order on the former president, legal experts say. This is Bob McQuaid, a former U.S. attorney, who says, and I quote, if he violates the order, he could be jailed for contempt. Why did you not gag him? You know this guy's not going to stop. He's going to poison every person in the country to the point where he thinks he can get away with it. Gag him. Frankly, if it were up to me, I would use a literal gag. I would put a muzzle around his mouth. I would take away every single computer and phone he has, because this insanity has to stop. Every time he posts on social media about how much he hates the judges and their families, making up BS lies about them, he is putting lives at risk. Gag him. If he violates the gag, arrest him. In conclusion to this, I have to say it. He might get away with this, but he's damn sure not getting away with the other 3. The investigations on him. January 6th. The documents, and especially the phone call trying to steal the election. He's not getting away with it, and his time is over. CTP, you know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.